Gentlemen, I hereby open the public sitting of the examinations committees for embedded systems, data science and artificial intelligence, computer science and engineering, data science and engineering, and industrial and applied mathematics. It's a pleasure for me to welcome you and the candidates for this graduation event. My name is Sam Borst, and I'm standing in for our Dean, Professor van der Heuvel, who is unfortunately not available to chair this meeting here today. We, as a department, are proud of the fact that today several students will receive the degree Master of Science. We offer these students a rich variety of high-level courses given by excellent teachers and a challenging graduation project. These ingredients have prepared all these graduates well for their future careers. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed our university and our challenging educational program. The Examinations Committee for Embedded Systems has assessed the work of the following candidates. And please accept my apologies if I mispronounce your name. Adrian Guillot, Emma Virado Forment, Daniel Hartgers, Stijn Kamp, Quinty Peters, Demi van Valenberg, and Stefan Willigers. The Examinations Committee for Data Science and Artificial Intelligence has assessed the work of the following candidate, Tom van Klippenberg. The Examinations Committee for Computer Science and Engineering, Data Science and Engineering, and Industrial and Applied Mathematics has assessed the work of the following double degree candidates: Hugo Melkers, Martin de Quincy, Angelique Husson, Ruben Verhaag, and Geert van Boordragen. Ladies and gentlemen, candidates Masters of Science, you have all passed your examinations and will therefore soon have conferred your degrees for Masters of Embedded Systems, Data Science and Artificial Intelligence, Computer Science and Engineering, Data Science and Engineering, and Industrial and Applied Mathematics. This degree entitles you to use the titles Master of Science and Ingenieur. And I would now like to request Dr. Geijlen to give a speech to Adrian Guillot.
I'd like to invite Adrian. Sorry, there is some mistake. Please come. Please. So I'm actually reading out the note that I received from my supervisors, Dr. Gallen. And it says that, Dear Adrian, first of all, I'm very sorry that I cannot be here today to celebrate this event with you and your family and hand over the degree to you. And teaching duties were on the way. However, in addition, quarantine for COVID is also there. It's mild, but it is there. You have done your graduation project with a company called High Matters Labs. At that time, they had rejected a number of students who applied for the project with them, and they started complaining to me to send them better students. When you applied, however, they were glad to have you on their project. High Matters Lab makes chips for artificial intelligence applications to run on the so-called edge devices instead of the cloud infrastructure used mostly today. This is good for various reasons, in particular for privacy concerns. Preventing private data from being used in the cloud is one of the reasons for these chips to be used. However, the AI applications require a lot of computation. It is essential that these methods can predict the performance of the final application on their chip very accurately and fast. And there comes your work. At the start of the project, we were not sure whether to go with the analytical method or a method where you simulate the models. We decided to go with the later one, given your interest and skill set and expertise. You have delivered such a model and simulator that is faster than the existing low-level models that the company has and more accurate than the existing high-level models they have. So it made the requirement of speed and accuracy. Your thesis called Fruitful Performance Estimation of the High VIP Processor, or High Fruit. I don't know how I did pronounce it correctly, but it says that grapefruit is the name that you gave to the simulator. And during the project, you also developed another software tool, which you named as Frise, which is strawberry in your native language. So you have apparently some kind of connection and fascination for fruits. And I regret that I have never asked you where that comes from. Probably you will get some chance in future to when Mark can ask you. Your supervisors at High Matter Labs have expressed that they highly value your work and the tool that you have developed, deliver to them in the course of this project. You have shown to be very comfortable with the complex tool flows and make adaptation and integration where needed. You have made a lot of progress during the project in a way that you manage your work, keep all stakeholders informed and involved all the time. You have also clearly gained a lot of confidence in that process. You are a very friendly, helpful person, and you have provided support to others whenever and wherever you could. For example, other intensive students. It has been a pleasure to be your supervisor during the project. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thanks also to High Matter Labs for hosting your project, in particular Luke Wayan and Orlando Muria for the daily supervision. At your defense, you said that you need some time and rest to think about the future steps. I'm confident that you will find a way and wish you all the best for that future. I sincerely hope that we will meet sometime again in person, and congratulations once again. Okay, so our next guest is Emma. Okay, first of all, congratulations for the achievement you have made so far. Dear Emma, so you have carried out your graduation project at NXP Semiconductor, Eindhoven. Your project is on developing energy-efficient path planning algorithms for electric vehicles. Your daily supervisor at NXP were Klaas Brink and Kees Moerman. I thank both of them for the useful discussions and the contributions in the daily supervision that they have made so far. We all know how important is the penetration of electric vehicles in the global automotive market. And it is becoming more and more crucial with the current social and political turmoil we are all passing through. One challenge that current electric vehicle technology faces is the low operating hour range and driving range that prohibits them from wider adaptation in the society. NXP Semiconductor wanted to investigate how a specific route impact the driving range of such an electric vehicle. That means how the route you choose impacted how long you can drive the vehicle. For example, if one wants to drive a car from TV to high-tech campus, he may decide, or he or she may decide to go through the city where there are a lot of stoplights, but the distance is shorter. Other option can be, can pick the highways and where the stoplights are less, but the distance is longer. Now, among these two options, which one is better for your driving range? That is the bigger question that Emma dealt with. But more importantly, what was also part of our research is dynamic decision making. That means once you start or pick the road through the city and you see that there is a lot of traffic, then whether it makes sense to go to the highway road. And that was the study she actually conducted, and NXP is interested. Now, in that process, you have developed two routing algorithms, one considering energy efficiency, the other one was energy oblivion, mostly related to the length of the path. You tested and validated the algorithm on the real experimental car that NXP has, as well as the small mobile robots, iRobots that also NXP provided. Your experiments clearly show that the energy efficient routing would help in terms of energy and range of the car, which may be an obvious conclusion, but it was certainly not obvious given that the huge number of parameters that can influence this benefit. And that is something that Emma dealt with in her thesis. The project as such is requires a lot of engineering work and innovation, because it involves to deal with the real car data as well as experimental setup. By all means, the time was very short because those algorithms gave a lot of trouble. The good point, which I really appreciate, is that Emma had always been calm. So she never panicked, which is certainly very noticeable, and tackled every challenge that she faces with a maturity of a senior engineer that you often see, and often don't see also. So you took quite a few steady decisions, and you made changes in the planning whenever necessary, and you had a very good communication skill. I think that you keep nearly all stakeholders informed, and they were also not panicking in the process because it was so much time pressure. And then you could also get them involved in the discussion and brainstorming sessions, which were quite extensive during the thesis. So you started working at Microsoft, I guess, and you that time, at least my guess is that you have moved to UK, and then I hope that you were enjoying your life and your career, and I am pretty sure that your capability is being appreciated in the company. And I wish you all the best once again. So, yes? Okay, so as usual, congratulations. I think that's the first thing to start with. So just to give an idea of where we started, so you carried out the graduation project at TUE, the Electronic Systems Group, where I was your supervisor. But in the process of your project, you closely collaborated with a company called iTech Inexperia. You have been closely mentored by Chaitanya Yugade, who is a PhD candidate at our group, and Sajid Mohammed from iTech. And I'd like to thank both of them for the useful discussions and the collaboration we had during your project. And I believe we made a very good team, actually. Now, a little bit of background of iTech. So iTech makes machines to handle wafers that are required for making chips. The wafers or the dies within a wafer are very small. Their sizes are usually in the micrometer or nanometer range. And in these machines, the wafers need to be picked and placed at a very high speed, at a very high accuracy. Now, such tasks are not possible to be done by a human being because you need to act very fast and accurately. So that's why automatic control technologies are used. Now, automatic control systems, they need to measure the position of a system. And those position measurements should be very accurate and fast, and exactly there Daniel contributed. So Daniel basically developed a vision-based sensor fusion algorithm that provides high accuracy position information at a high frequency. So your project basically dealt with a real-life industrial problem. That also means that it comes with associated challenges, and you have dealt with them. You did an excellent job in understanding the requirement of the project, which itself was very difficult, and developing a clear problem statement that captures all the requirements that specific use case had. And at the end, after a long fight, a solution came up for that specific variant of the problem, and that also opened up quite a few future directions. And currently, for your information, there are 2 master students who are following up on your project, who are using your framework. Not only that, the PhDs associated with the project are also using benchmarking with your framework, which is, I think, something to be proud of, because your framework is usable by the next generation, and that really, I'm also proud. I think you also have a reason to be proud of. So you approached me a long time back during the time you take embedded control systems course, and that time it was online. So we met after quite some time. And I asked you at the beginning if you are interested in a project at a company, and your answer was clear, that you wanted to work at TUE, especially you were motivated enough to let's say employ all your times in thesis, and which is very uncommon these days because company has some other attractions. I noticed that you are extremely good in planning, so anything that changes, you immediately reflect that in the planning and take into account in all your actions. And communication to all the members in a team, and that's also make the collaboration a success, because you could really communicate all these small details and align with them and discuss, brainstorm. We often had long brainstorming sessions, which used to be very painful, I know. But at the end, you always participated in those sessions with meaningful new ideas. And that's the thing that gave us those nice results. Your results are currently being published or being written as a paper to be submitted in European Control Conference. I think you will soon hear about that. It was really a pleasure working with you and supervising with you in the project. So this morning I came to know that you are looking for position in Japan, and there was some discussion during the project that you are really interested in Japan, but after that time, Japan was totally closed, and yeah, you have been looking for it. I wish that, so you have the 1 month holiday in Japan planned, that is what I understood, and I wish that you will get your dream job there very soon. And in any case, I'm pretty sure with your ability, you will be appreciated in all industries wherever you go, no matter it is in Japan or Netherlands. I'm pretty confident about that. I wish you again all the best for everything that is coming for you. Yeah.
Um, I, I think most people in this room have had some sort of dealing with smart home environments, some smart home devices, consumer electronics, embedded consumer electronics that you have at home, like smart thermostats or radiators or smart TVs, that you're never really sure what are they doing with my data, right? These devices, they have all of your data about your house, your habits, your living, and you're not really sure what are they really doing. And typically, if you want to find out, you have to read hundreds of pages of documentation of some tech giant that is written in this size that you cannot read. So we saw this as a very big problem, and actually Stein Comp here took that up as a master assignment, which was a really complex assignment. So, dear Stein, it was a long time ago that you were looking for a master graduation assignment in the field of the Internet of Things networks. You asked me if I had a spot available for a master's student that would carry out his graduation on such a topic. After a meeting with you, I actually discovered that you are a multidisciplinary person, that you have an excellent embedded systems training, obviously, but you also had an industrial design background, which was really great. That was great because it was about the same time that we were kind of initializing a collaboration with my colleague in the industrial design department, Dr. Matthias Funk, that we had ideas about multidisciplinary projects that had both design perspective and embedded systems perspective in them. So together with Dr. Funk, we told you about our vision, but we didn't really have a concrete assignment description yet at the time, so we went back and forth. Actually, we created the assignments together with you, more or less. And the assignment goal was to design and implement monitoring of data flows at the smart home, as well as to develop the user side and the system side technology to give control of such flow to the homeowner. It was a big task. This was a multidisciplinary project that required solving a set of complex problems. It also required you to prepare user studies, go through all sorts of course, ethical review processes, carry out these user studies and evaluate your results. It was a big task. So several months later, you had very successfully created an advanced user interface and the entire front-end and back-end framework to empower the users to control their privacy in their smart homes. Yeah, that much about the work. I know you as a kind person. I really enjoyed working with you very much. As your supervisors, we were always inspired by your strength. You had many obstacles along the way, very difficult situations to overcome, but nothing could really stop you. You did excellent job. Needless to say, you achieved what you achieved is amazing. I'm very happy to congratulate you on this achievement and for your graduation today, on this happy day. Your family can be very proud of you. Finally, I wish you the very best in your future career.
Hi, Quinty. Congratulations. Yeah, Quinty Peters, welcome to the stage. So my name is Manal Dev Gomani, and I'm an assistant professor in the Electronic Systems group. So I'm mainly teaching systems on silicon as a course on IC design, basically. So Quinty was my student in the class. Of course, it was a virtual class. It was the first time we moved from in the COVID time to a virtual environment. So it was quite challenging to interact with the students. So, but Quinty did stand out there because she was the most noise making in the Microsoft Teams environment and as well as the Canvas environment, because she used to post a lot of messages in the chat asking questions and interacting with other students, which I find it very unique, which many students don't do often. So thank you for that. So after that, she came to me asking for a master project, and of course we had an open position in our group together with Professor Henk Korpral and the PhD student Sayan Dipte. The task was, of course, exploring fine-grained self-healing concept in approximate multipliers. So a bit about the concept. So essentially, we can do multiplication by repeated addition, because that's how basically we do. Of course, how we do the addition depends on how we implement it. But the basic idea of self-healing is that in one of the earlier stages of multiplication, we introduce some error deliberately. And then we can compensate the error later stage by adding a reverse error, basically in the opposite direction. Why it's beneficial? Because if we can introduce error deliberately, that means that we are reducing some of the building blocks needed. That means that we can reduce the area and power of the block. But then we also have to introduce an error in an exactly opposite direction so as not to screw up the computation. Of course, this is simple as said, but when you do it, it's not very simple, because the way in which the multipliers are built is using one-bit adders, and the way in which they are combined is in a complex way. You can explain it in a simple way, but of course, it gives us a lot of millions of combinations. So for instance, you can remove some of the gates in one of the adders, and it will introduce a certain error. But then to compensate in the later stages, you have to understand what kind of combinations you need to create to reverse the error. And since it gives us millions of possibilities, the errors are also different types. For instance, how do we deal with such errors? So it's a huge design space. So towards that, of course, Quinty did a good job. She built a framework that allows us to do a design space exploration and to plot the energy versus area trade-off for the different combinations. Of course, she did this study in an exhaustive manner, but then we found that it was not a scalable solution for larger multipliers. So she came up with an idea that, okay, we can apply some heuristics, but by preserving the properties of the self-healing, but not introducing a lot of errors. And I think the results were quite good and quite impressive. So in terms of challenging, I would say that this is one of the complex, challenging master thesis assignment we have given to a master student, because the results were not clear. We were quite hopeful what is going to happen, and there were a lot of brainstorming sessions we had to do together with Professor Henk Korpral. We had to push you a lot, but I think you survived, and you achieved a good result in the end. And actually, it opened up new challenges or new path towards the next direction. The research you did, actually, we use it as a baseline for a continuation to see how we can do for larger multipliers and to achieve a lower area and power. Yeah. So in that sense, I thank you for your contribution, and being an active student, you are a good team player overall. We had nice interactions and then achieved a good result. Thank you for your contribution, and I wish you all the success in your next career. Yeah, thanks.
Sorry. Ingenieur van Valenberg, beste Demi. Van harte gefeliciteerd. In november 2020 zocht je contact met mij. Je was op zoek naar een afstudeeronderwerp. En een half jaar later begon je met onderzoek naar het afbeelden van dataflowberekeningen op FPGA's. Het bleek helaas een valse start. Het onderwerp bleek nog onvoldoende rijp voor een afstudeeropdracht. Maar een nieuw onderwerp was gauw gevonden. Het sorteren van een stroom getallen. En dat klinkt natuurlijk wel een beetje vreemd. Kun je anno 2022 nog afstuderen op het onderwerp sorteren? is sorteren als onderzoekonderwerp niet gewoon af? Wel, het blijkt anders te liggen. De uitdaging zit hem vooral in het kwantitatieve. Hoeveel key value pairs kun je sorteren en hoe snel? En het wereldrecord, hebben we uitgevonden, is in handen van MIT, een Amerikaanse universiteit. Zij sorteren 512 miljard getallen ruim binnen het uur. En zij noemen het een terabyte sorteerder. Het duurde wel even voordat je de smaak te pakken kreeg. Bijna precies een jaar geleden vandaag presenteerde je je voorstudie aan de afstudeercommissie. Het ging allemaal wat moeizaam. De commissie vond het probleem wel interessant, maar vond jouw presentatie nogal dun. Maar geleidelijk begin je het leuker en leuker te vinden. In mijn aantekeningen van 2 december lees ik terug: Demi is zelf best tevreden over de voortgang en over de deelresultaten. Maar er moest echter... Maar er moest echter nog meer gesorteerd worden. Klussen in Den Bosch, zweefvliegen, piano spelen, vakantie, nog een vakantie en nog meer. Maar er volgde dit voorjaar een eindspurt. Je vindt oplossingen voor de deelproblemen en je sluit die deeloplossingen netjes op elkaar aan. En je legt je toe op een bewijs, een wiskundig bewijs van een cruciale eigenschap van jouw sorteerder. En vervolgens richt je je ogen weer op de terabyte sorteren van MIT. En je laat zien dat in een appels met appels vergelijking jouw oplossing ruim 50% sneller is. Al met al waren we getuigen van een groei van Demi. Een groei als onderzoeker, een groei als persoon en een groei tot ingenieur. Het afstudeerverslag is dan ook veel beter dan het verslag van je voorstudie. En in begin juli presenteer je je afstudeerwerk. De commissie is enthousiast over die presentatie. En je houdt je goed staande bij de verdediging van je werk. Overigens, die afstudeerpresentatie was de eerste keer tijdens het onderzoek dat wij elkaar fysiek ontmoeten. Al onze bijeenkomsten tot dan waren online. En dat lijkt nog maar een paar maanden later alweer heel erg onwezenlijk. Beste Demi, ik vond het leuk om samen met jou te werken. Bij deze nogmaals gefeliciteerd met het behalen van je bul. Maak er een mooi feest van met vrienden en familie. En ik wens je veel succes en inspiratie met je loopbaan.
Dear Master Holder Stefan Oligers, congratulations on coming this far. Congratulations on coming this far and earning yourself the degree of Master of Science in Embedded Systems Engineering. About a year ago, you came to me with spiking interest in spiking neurons. And without bothering you guys with a lot of technical details, we basically try to build networks of these spiking neurons in the context of artificial intelligence to mimic the brain and also try to decode it and understand it from the perspective of intelligence, which is, of course, a very cool topic and sounds very interesting, but also very complicated. And the first thing I told you when you came to me is that I have decided to completely change the project from training these neurons to simulating them. But your interest did not change at all. In fact, you have showed great initiative in introducing your own ideas to the project, taking it from a trace-driven simulator to a functional simulator. And more importantly, you've made it work through your dedication and hard work and perseverance. And for that, I'm proud to give you this degree today, and you have fully earned it, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Beste Tom, gefeliciteerd. Zoals je weet kon Mikola Pesniski hier niet zijn vandaag omdat hij college moest geven. Dus vandaar dat ik je nu zal toespreken. Ik switch ook naar het Engels omdat jullie altijd in het Engels met elkaar spraken en hij zijn speech ook in het Engels heeft geschreven. Dear Tom, congratulations with the successful completion of your master's studies. You worked on a challenging and relevant problem, providing decision support for credit risk assessment. This was an external project offered to you by a Dutch fintech company that aimed to employ modern machine learning models trained on bank transactions to determine a company's creditworthiness for a requested credit loan. Machine learning has been of an increasing interest in fintech. However, different stakeholders, including employees and customers of fintech business, have little to no knowledge of modern machine learning. Furthermore, off-the-shelf solutions provide limited insights into why a machine learning model has generated a specific risk prediction. These two factors slow down new technology adoption and, more importantly, introduce new risks related to poor trust calibration, that is, not helping humans well enough to decide when to rely and when not to rely on predictions of machine learning models. Explainable AI is an emerging field actively looking for methods to address this problem. Many new methods appear in the literature, but they are rarely put into real practice. The contribution of your work was to adopt explainable AI by diving into the world of credit risk assessment. The company provided you with nice opportunities to observe credit risk underwriters in their natural habitat, interact with them, interview them, involve them into your thought process, design choices, decision-making, tool development, and its final assessment. You put together a few key explainable AI ideas in such a way that domain experts were empowered with actionable recommendations, accompanied with helpful insights to understand model outputs and associated levels of confidence. This led to tremendous reduction of their time needed to assess a loan request. And then continues Tom, it was a great pleasure to supervise your graduation project and to see your professional growth. And I guess I should add that your professional growth and your assessment led to a cum laude for your master thesis project, so that's really great to see. So congratulations on behalf of Mikola and also on behalf of myself on your successful project, and wishing you all the best in your future career.
Best Hugo, first I want to acquaint myself of the very honorable task of handing over to you 2 diplomas. One in computer science and one in mathematics. Congratulations. Thank you. Hugo, it was, I think, 4 years ago that we met in a course, Introduction Numerical Analysis, that I give in the 2nd year, still today. And there you were, Hugo, the name with the high grades, mostly a 10. And I wondered who Hugo Melgers was, so I met the name. I did not meet you in person a very long time. Until after some day, after the written exam, a modest student entered my office who wanted to see the assessment of his written exam with a grade 10. You came and quickly went. But you returned in 2020 for a longer period, for 2 master courses, and finally also for your master project. Your master project was a double project in mathematics and computer science, hence the 2 diplomas. From the side of computer science, your supervisor was Dr. Vlado Menkovsky, not present here today, unfortunately. So it's my honor to hand over the computer science diploma as well. And from the side of mathematics, there were 3 supervisors, Professor Daan Krommelin and Dr. Benjamin Sandersen from the Centrum Wiskunde en Informatica in Amsterdam, and I. Topic of your double master project was machine learning for closure models, a mixture of mathematics, computer science, and also a little bit of physics. Scientifically and societally very important research. You did a great job. Some quotes by the exam committee on your thesis. Very well structured and concise, perfect English, very neat and clear graphics. The thesis is a small encyclopedia in scientific computing and machine learning. On your presentation, very clear, neat, and well-timed. The presentation could have been easily overloaded with details, but you master the art of omission. You know which details to delete. It appeared that you understand your research very well and that you are capable to smoothly switch between answering general and detailed questions. This appeared after the presentation, in the questioning by the public, and also during the defense in front of the double exam committee. The questioning there was very tough, but no issue for you. You were very concise, very clear, very honest, and also very mature in answering the questions. My compliments. Finally, on the execution of your project, it was carried out perfectly in time, despite the pandemic circumstances, and the amount of work that you performed is really excellent in quality and quantity. Hugo, ladies and gentlemen, obtained both diplomas with the distinction cum laude. Very well deserved. A publication for a scientific journal, you know, Hugo, is currently distilled by you in particular, from your thesis. I have to work on it this week. I will do. I've also been persuading you to start PhD research, and you are very well capable to do so. Last week, we were even for this at ASML to speak about PhD research project. And I'm very glad that there are some good developments in this since this morning. Wait and see. It was a pleasure to work with you, Hugo. Hopefully we remain in contact, perhaps in the context of PhD research for ASML, we will see. Whatever direction you choose, my door will always be open for you. And to conclude, Hugo, I still want to hand over this present also to you. I hope it is the proper size. And in my congratulations, I also want to conclude your mother and your grandmother, Oma, and your sister, all 3 present here today.
Okay, so Beste Martin, it's really a great pleasure to congratulate you. That's easier. For your completion of your master degrees, so it's 2 in industrial and applied mathematics and in data science and industrial and in engineering. Right, so actually quite many months before the project started, you approached me asking for projects, and we discussed a number of possibilities, and one kind of popped up, which was structured learning in high-dimensional time series data, right? And the content is very suitable for this type of double degrees. And it touched upon areas of causal inference, which are conceptually challenging on one hand, and also lead to very interesting philosophical heated discussions. And yeah, the ultimate goal is to find structure from data. And given the connections of this project in another project, NWA project on predictive maintenance, it made sense to involve also Alexander May, which is a postdoc working on that project. He's not here today, but I also congratulate you. Right? So the main motivation was to essentially monitor a complex system over time. Like think of a complicated machine or a living cell, and you measure quantities inside that system. And what you'd like to know over time, and what you'd like to know is to understand how are the different parts of this system connected. Okay, how do different proteins regulate other proteins and so on. So you want to learn the structure from this type of time series data. Right? And the project started with a relatively crude idea of formulating this as a constraint optimization problem. And well, in kind of small dimensions like this problem here, you could do it kind of not by hand, but brute force search. But as soon as instead of like 5 quantities, you have hundreds, that doesn't go so well. So what we did was, well, let's just try to relax, not in a sense of being lazy, but to do a sort of convex relaxation. That didn't work so well. So we had to adjust our course, and then we explored some machine learning methods and methods from signal processing. And that worked actually quite well. So you develop methods that are competitive with the state of the art on one hand, but running much faster. So computationally are much more appealing, right? And all these methods require some sort of hyperparameter tuning. But in time series settings, well, sort of go-to strategy of cross-validation doesn't make sense. But we decided to investigate, okay, does it really not make sense? And you came up with very nice insights, heuristic and also empirical, why it still makes some sense. So it was really truly a great pleasure to work with you. Right, you're very hardworking, very motivated. Your final report is a bit on the verbose side on one hand, but it reads like a set of lecture notes. So it was long, but very nice to read with many examples and so on. So you clearly studied the literature. You knew exactly how things fit together, which is quite outstanding. And you're very very independent in identifying ways to improve implementation. So that really helped in terms of the computation and also justified cum laude for the data science degree. So congratulations again on your degree, or on your both your degrees, and I'm sure you'll excel in your position as a mathematical consultant at CUX now, and we'll have an opportunity to work again in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, I hope it's the right size.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
See. Best Angelique. Well, congratulations on the completion of your master degrees. It's 2 again. I hope all the diplomas are there. It was really a pleasure to walk along with you during this project. Right. So being an avid swimmer yourself, and it was no surprise you wanted to combine swimming, computer science, and mathematics in a single entity. And luckily, such an opportunity arose when you end up doing a project with CUX Technologies on motion tracking of swimmers. Right? It's based on a ongoing collaboration of CUX and InnoSports Lab. Right? And this was a double degree project supervised by Robert Pehars in computer science, myself in math, and from the company side, from CUX, Bram Eleveld. Okay. So let me see. So an integral component of training high-performance athletes is a careful analysis of their technique, right? And this is done typically by examining past performances through a video or something like that. And understanding, especially in the competitive world, understanding minute motions that can be modified to improve performance is needed, right? So the ultimate goal of this project was to investigate ways to automate the extraction of motion information, like 3D motion information from video frames captured by different underwater cameras. And in a swimming context, there is one challenge, that the swimmer is not in the water, not outside the water, is right in between. So it makes it even a bit more challenging than some other settings. So ultimately, the goal was to investigate different possibilities, how to do this automatic motion extraction, comparing classical techniques, such as the extended Kalman filter and related methods, with more computational intensive methods, such as particle filters and Bayesian variational inference. And you were very methodic in the way you worked. You are very very hardworking. You clearly understood the high-level challenges and how different parts came together, right? You always came very well prepared for the meetings. And important to say, these meetings were somewhat crowded, and it was during the pandemic, so there were a lot of people there, often 5, 6 participants, which can be intimidating, I would say. And nevertheless, you managed to communicate effectively with everyone involved. You never lost your cool, so that was not an easy feat. So managing to address everyone in a meeting, so that was outstanding. You were always keen in showing us numerical evidence for the methods you proposed, sometimes with a bit more focus on the numerics and less on the methodology, but that was still very, very useful. And there were some challenges during the project. In particular, there was the idea of implementing some of these methods in probabilistic programming language, and that was a bit challenging, not because you didn't try, just because it was difficult. But you managed to succeed, and that was great. So the insights of this project are very valuable for SIUX, and they were very appreciative of this work. So I want to conclude by congratulating you again on your 2 degrees, and it was fun to work with you, and I hope we'll meet each other in the future. Congratulations again.
Beste Ruben, om te beginnen, van harte gefeliciteerd met je diploma. Dit zijn ze. En net als bij je voorgangers heb je niet 1, maar 2 diploma's bij elkaar gestudeerd de afgelopen jaren. En dat ook nog cum laude gedaan, wat erg knap is. Ik wil een klein beetje vertellen over waar je project vandaan kwam. En dat begon eigenlijk indirect met een van de andere hoogleraren hier aan de tafel. Mark de Berg heeft een promovendus gehad in het verleden en die is daarna voor een bedrijf gaan werken in het noorden van Eindhoven. En zij maken machines, daar komen groene printplaten in waar nog niks op zit. Dan gaan er een hoop robotarmen aan de gang om daar transistors en weerstandjes op te zetten. Aan het eind gaat hij nog eventjes in de oven om ze allemaal vast te bakken. En de uitdaging is dan om dat proces zo snel mogelijk te laten gaan. En te bepalen in welke volgorde je die dingen moet plaatsen niet makkelijk, want die machine heeft meerdere robotarmen die elkaar in de weg kunnen zitten of niet, afhankelijk van hoe slim je dat doet. Zij hadden daar al even over nagedacht en daar een vrij mooi wiskundig probleem uit afgeleid, waarvan ze niet wisten of ze het altijd snel konden oplossen. Ze hadden daar een soort van vuistregel voor bedacht om daarmee om te gaan. Dus ze vroegen zich af, eigenlijk vanuit het academische perspectief, wat Dirk die daar toen aan gewerkt heeft, had. Is er een algoritme dat dit probleem in alle gevallen snel oplost? Nou, dat was eigenlijk de vraag waar jij mee begon. En ik en de medebegeleider Laura Sanita van het wiskundedepartement hadden allebei gedacht dat je daar wel een paar maanden zoet mee zou zijn. En niets bleef minder waar, want in de eerste 2 weken van je project kwam je al met 2 verschillende bewijzen die eigenlijk allebei lieten zien dat het helaas een van de NP-complete problemen is waarvoor we denken dat er geen algoritme is dat altijd binnen korte tijd het optimale antwoord vindt. Toen was er nog een zee van tijd over binnen je project en die heb je gebruikt om heel veel verschillende alternatieve paradigma's in de algoritmiek toe te passen. Dus je hebt aan de ene kant gekeken, kan er een algoritme zijn wat altijd snel loopt en wat bewijsbaar een oplossing vindt die dicht bij de optimale oplossing zit. Helaas bleek dat ook niet het geval te zijn. En toen heb je daarna gekeken naar wat zijn nou de eigenschappen die de inputs hebben die in de praktijk voorkomen. Misschien kun je niet alle inputs snel oplossen, maar als je alleen de inputs snel kan oplossen die daadwerkelijk opgelost moeten worden omdat ze zo'n planningsprobleem voorstellen, dan ben je daar ook al heel gelukkig mee. En tot onze grote verbazing vond je toen dat de meest praktische parametrisatie van het probleem equivalent bleek te zijn aan de complexiteit van een probleem wat al sinds de jaren 80 is bestudeerd, maar zonder het ooit echt tot in de diepte begrepen te hebben. Dus je vond ineens een brug tussen het oude en het nieuwe. En die brug ging door iets wat nou juist het meest praktische aspect van het probleem was. En die combinatie was voor mij heel bijzonder. Je hebt daarna ook nog gewerkt aan preprocessing strategieën en andere parametrisaties, interlineaire programma's. Dus je hebt laten zien dat je in je wiskunde- en informatica opleidingen een heel scala aan algoritmische vaardigheden hebt opgebouwd. En die heb je prachtig gebundeld in je afstudeerwerk. Daar heb je ook nog een hele mooie presentatie van gegeven. Ik was onder de indruk van de Bunk Bed Hotel. Dat was de manier waarop Ruben wist uit te leggen wat het hele specifieke wiskundige probleem was waar hij aan gewerkt heeft. En dat was niet het laatste stuk van de voorbereiding van je afstudeerpresentatie. Aan het eind, toen het publiek vragen mocht stellen, bleek dat je ook nog extra slides had ingevoegd waarmee je een aantal vragen had geanticipeerd. En niet één, maar 2 keer toe wist jij te zeggen, oh, voor deze vraag, die had ik zien aankomen, daar heb ik op deze slide een antwoord voor wat ik jullie ga uitleggen. Dus uit alles bleek dat je dat perfect in de vingers had en prachtig had verzorgd. Dus je afstudeerwerk was uitmuntend. In de tussentijd wist je ook nog studentassistent te zijn voor het mastervak wat ik geef. Ik was erg tevreden met hoe je daar de studenten van hulp hebt voorzien tijdens de office hours en hebt nagekeken wat die mensen allemaal gedaan hebben. Bovendien was je ook nog altijd erg enthousiast om mee te werken. Je kwam met een glimlach binnen en meestal duurde het dan even voordat Laura en ik allemaal begrepen hadden wat je die week allemaal niet onderzocht had. Dus je was de ideale student en toen we jouw masterpresentatie beoordeelden, communiceerden wij ook naar het derde commissielid van, goh, Ruben heeft het fantastisch gedaan, het is iemand die je zou willen als PhD-student. Het uur daarna sprak ik je en toen zei je, goh, ik zou heel graag een PhD-positie willen, is daar kans op? En toen zei ik, nou nee, ik zou je het wel gunnen, maar voorlopig lijkt het er niet op dat er fondsen zijn om een positie op te creëren. En toen bleek dat het onderwijsmanagement een beetje in het nauw zat met hun capaciteit. Het leek alsof er niet genoeg mankracht zou zijn om in Q1 van het nieuwe academisch jaar alle vakken van een tutor te voorzien. Dus daar kwam een beetje geld vandaan. En toen zei ik, nou, ik weet nog een hele goede student die staat te springen. En al dus geschieden. Dus ik ben heel blij dat je sinds september bij ons aan de slag bent als PhD met een teaching assistant positie. En ik denk dat je voor de rol van die combinatie geknipt bent. Ik ga even kijken of ik nog iets anders had willen zeggen. Nee. Ik wil eindigen door te onderstrepen dat je het prachtig gedaan hebt en dat ik erg blij ben dat ik de komende 5 jaar nog met je mag samenwerken. Je krijgt van mij ook zo'n rode trui en we zien elkaar morgen weer.
Beste Geert, nogmaals gefeliciteerd. Ook Geert heeft zowel wiskunde als informatica gestudeerd en ook is hij met cum laude afgestudeerd. Dus heel goed gedaan. En voor u nu denkt van ja, iedereen heeft hier cum laude, dat is blijkbaar de gewoonte. Dat is zeker niet het geval. Normaal gesproken is misschien 1 op de 6 studenten die cum laude heeft, maar hier hebben we een zeer goede lichting in de zaal zitten. Ook vaak de double degree studenten zijn natuurlijk ook vaak de studenten die wat extra in de mars hebben. En dat bleek bij jou ook zeker het geval te zijn. Je kwam ongeveer, ruim een jaar geleden denk ik, bij me langs voor een afstudeeropdracht. En je had wel een vak bij mij gevolgd, maar ik kende je eigenlijk niet zo. Dat was ten eerste omdat het een vak was waar meer dan 200 studenten bij zaten. Dus dan ken je ze sowieso niet allemaal. Maar ten tweede ook omdat je nou niet direct de meest luidruchtige student van het stel bent. Je bent een beetje op de achtergrond en dat zal er ook ongetwijfeld mee te maken hebben dat ik je nog niet zo in het oog had tot dat moment. Je hebt gewerkt aan een heel leuk probleem, vind ik zelf. Je ziet hier een plaatje en ik zal een beetje aan de hand van het plaatje proberen uit te leggen waar Geert aan gewerkt heeft. U moet zich voorstellen dat er verkiezingen zijn met een aantal kandidaten en natuurlijk een heleboel stemmers. En wat een kandidaat ergens van vindt, dat wordt gerepresenteerd door in dit plaatje waar die zich ergens in het vlak bevindt. Dus je kan je voorstellen, de kandidaat wil zoveel geld uitgeven hieraan en zoveel geld uitgeven hieraan, dus die komt overeen met dit punt. En elke kiezer denkt natuurlijk ook van, nou eigenlijk vind ik dat je hier zoveel geld uit zou moeten aangeven en hier zoveel, dus dat is ook een punt. Dus de blauwe kruisjes hier zijn de kiezers. En die gaan nou naar alle kandidaten kijken, hun programma's lezen, zien, oh deze kandidaat wil zoveel geld uitgeven daar, zoveel daar. Deze zit het dichtst bij wat ik wil, dus daar ga ik voor stemmen. Nou, klinkt allemaal prachtig, maar stel dat er 2 kandidaten zijn, dan blijkt het slim te zijn om even te wachten met je verkiezingsprogramma te schrijven tot je tegenstander het verkiezingsprogramma heeft geschreven. Dan kijk je daar eens goed in en aan de hand daarvan kies je waar je jouw verkiezingsprogramma wil positioneren. En als je dat op de juiste manier doet, dan win je als tweede kandidaat altijd. Waar Geert naar heeft gekeken, wat gebeurt er nou als de eerste kandidaat een coalitie is van een paar kandidaten. Dus in dit geval hebben we de rode kandidaten, die vormen 1 coalitie met z'n 4. En de groene kandidaat is maar in zijn eentje, maar die mag als tweede. Hoe groot moet de coalitie zijn van de rode kandidaten om altijd te kunnen winnen? Ook al moeten ze als eerste hun partijprogramma's bekendmaken. En als ze dan altijd winnen, hoeveel winnen ze dan? Welk percentage van de stemmen? Dat zijn prachtige combinatorische vragen waar je met heel veel plezier aan hebt gewerkt. En ook heel veel hele slimme dingen over hebt bedacht. De manier waarop het meestal ging is, we hadden elke week dan een afspraak. Jij kwam binnen. Op een gegeven moment leerde ik mezelf van, ik begin gewoon met niks te zeggen. En dan wacht ik tot jij uiteindelijk het initiatief neemt in de meeting. En dan langzaam kwam daar wat. En dan op een gegeven moment zag ik van, ja, ik heb hier ook nog over nagedacht, zei dan. En dan begonnen je ogen wat op te lichten en dan ging je naar het bord. En dan legde je allemaal hele mooie nieuwe ideeën uit aan mij, waarmee je wat er bekend was in de wetenschappelijke literatuur kon verbeteren. Nou, uiteindelijk heb je daar denk ik heel veel hele mooie dingen gedaan. Dat is ook zeker iets waar we de komende tijd hopelijk nog een mooi wetenschappelijk artikel uit gaan destilleren, wat denk ik in een uitstekende conferentie of tijdschrift terecht zal kunnen komen. Ondertussen ben je afgestudeerd en eigenlijk al, vrij in het begin vroeg ik aan je van, weet je al wat je wil als je klaar bent met je afstuderen? Denk je erover om een PhD te gaan doen of niet? In het begin wist je het nog niet zo, maar op een gegeven moment bleek dat je dat toch wel interessant vond. En ik vroeg dat natuurlijk omdat ik ook zelf wel dacht dat jij daar zeer geschikt voor zou zijn. Zelf hadden wij helaas geen plek, anders had ik je ook graag hier een plek willen aanbieden. Maar ik wist van een collega in Finland die wel een PhD-plek had. En enigszins tot mijn blije verrassing moet ik zeggen, dacht je van PhD, dat wil ik graag en Finland, dat durf ik wel aan. Dus je hebt daar gesolliciteerd en je bent daar aangenomen en ondertussen woon en werk je in Finland. Ik ben ervan overtuigd dat je daar ook weer hele mooie wetenschappelijke dingen gaat doen. Ik hoop dat je het ook in andere opzichten heel veel naar je zin gaat hebben daar. Het kan wat koud zijn in Finland, maar daarvoor hebben we een mooie trui voor jou meegebracht. Dus nogmaals ontzettend veel plezier en succes daar in Finland. En nogmaals gefeliciteerd en ook uiteraard felicitaties voor je familie.
So we'll now proceed with a speech by the chair of the Study Association, Ms. Wietske de Bond. The floor is yours.
Dear students, or should I say graduates, as you're now all graduated, dear family members, friends, and all other attendees. So, as already told, my name is Wietske de Bond. I'm the chair of GEWIS, and GEWIS is a study association for mathematics and computer science. And as GEWIS, we organize several activities related from educational, career activities, but also very fun activities. So it's also nice that I know that some of you, for example, participated in programming contests, very like educational, but also fun activities like a pub quiz or took part in a committee. So that's very nice. But back to the point why we're here now. We're here because today you're officially graduated. Today you've received your master's degree. But if I look back on time, 6 years ago, maybe some of you have already started studying, maybe some of you did not even start and were still in high school. But on this day, 6 years ago, a cargo rocket was successfully launched to international spaceship. And I think that's a very nice similarity to why you're sitting here right now. Because right now you are launched to a new chapter in your life, full of cargo in the sense of that you've a lot of knowledge, you learn a lot from the university, but also about yourself, because you really worked hard for this. And right now you can, start a new chapter, maybe here a PhD at the university, or literally internationally in another country, and maybe at a company here in the region, or you still don't know what to do. But whatever you want to do, I want to challenge you to set goals for yourselves and achieve what you want to achieve. And I think also it's good to mention that for you it probably hasn't been an easy ride, because part of your master's degree was in times of COVID, with a lockdown, and required a lot of studying, motivation, and maybe more energy than regularly. So I think it's something you can be very proud of, especially in these times. And I think your family can all be proud of you, but also I am very proud of you on behalf of GEWIS. And I also wanted to address someone who also was active in GEWIS in the committee. So Quinty, I think, 3 years ago you joined the Supremum. This is a kind of paper or journal which we hand out normally 4 times a year, full of articles, columns, but also fun sayings from the members. And also I think sometimes a professor has a nice article about research in there. And you contributed a lot also in here. And for this we also want to thank you as GEWIS. So I have a small present for you. Efforts. Then also you're now all alumni of our department, so you're also invited to join ADA, the recently founded alumni association. Here you can meet other alumni, or later in your life, maybe if you still want to have some connection with other alumni, you can also reach that by joining ADA. And then only one thing left for me is to congratulate you all with this wonderful achievement. And also to say that this may be a stimulus for the rest of your life, that if you know that if you want to achieve something, you can achieve it if you work hard. Thank you.
Thanks very much. And ladies and gentlemen, Masters of Science, with reference to the words of the previous speakers, and on behalf of the departments of Mathematics and Computer Science and Electrical Engineering, I would like to congratulate you also and your families on your degrees. And I will now read out some important words from the Scientific Code of Conduct. The scientific degree of master involves duties as well as rights. As a holder of this degree, you are committed to standards of scientific integrity, trustworthiness, intellectual honesty, openness, independence, and societal responsibility. These standards are described in more detail in the Netherlands Code of Conduct for Research Integrity and in the Eindhoven Code based on it. You also have duties towards society. You must be clear about the boundaries of your own expertise, and you must communicate honestly and independently about the results of your work, including potential risks associated with it. You are committed to the ethical codes for research and design involving human subjects or animals. So on that note, I wish you every success and good fortune in your future careers. Ladies and gentlemen, the photographer We'll now take some pictures of the candidates together with their supervisors, and we'll do that outside the room for better light conditions. And we therefore kindly request that everyone else just remain seated for now to minimize traffic congestion at the door, and that way we'll all be able to get to the drinks and snacks as quickly as possible. So with that, the public sitting of the Examinations Committee is closed. Thank you.